perfectly qualified. In the Vayu Purana, an acharya is defined as one who knows the import of all Vedic literature, explains the purpose of the Vedas, abides by their rules and regulations, and teaches his disciples to act in the same way. Only out of his immense compassion does the personality of Godhead reveal himself as the spiritual master. Therefore, in the dealings of an acharya, there are no activities but those of transcendental loving service to the Lord. He is the Supreme Personality of Servitor Godhead. It is worthwhile to take shelter of such a steady devotee who is called Ashraya Vigraha, or the manifestation or form of the Lord, of whom we must take shelter. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naran Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudhiraye Nashtaprayesha Badreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naistiki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 23 and Text 56. Neham yat karma dharmaya Neha yat karma dharmaya na viragaya kalpate na viragaya kalpate na tiddapada sevayai na tiddapada sevayai jivan api mrutaha hi saha jivan api mruto hi saha neha yat karma dharmaya na viragaya kalpate Natiddapada sevayai jivannapi mruto hi saha. Na, not, iha, here, yat, which, karma, work, dharmaya, for perfection of religious life, na, not, viragaya, for detachment, kalpate, leads, na, not, tiddapada, of the Lord's lotus feet, sevayai, to devotional service, jivan, living, api, although, mrutaha, dead, he, indeed, saha, he. Translation purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swamy Srila Prabhupada. Translation: anyone whose work is not meant to elevate him to religious life, anyone whose religious ritualistic performances do not raise him to renunciation, and anyone situated in renunciation that does not lead him to devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead must be considered dead, although he is breathing. Please repeat. Anyone whose work is not meant to elevate him to religious life, anyone whose ritualistic performances do not raise him to renunciation, and anyone situated in renunciation that does not lead him to devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead must be considered dead, although he is breathing. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Devahuti's statement is that since she was attached to living with her husband for sense gratification, which does not lead to liberation from material entanglement, her life was simply a waste of time. Any work one performs that does not lead to the status of religious life is useless activity. Everyone is by nature inclined to some sort of work, and when that work leads one to religious life, and religious life leads one to renunciation, and renunciation leads one to the devotional service, one attains the perfection of work. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, any work that doesn't lead ultimately to the standard of devotional service is a cause of bondage in the material world. Yajnadhat karmanonyatra lokoyam karma bandhana. Unless one is gradually elevated to the position of devotional service, beginning from his natural activity, he is to be considered a dead body. Work which does not lead one to understanding of Krishna consciousness is considered useless. Dasanstha Bhaktivedanta Parpoto Madhyanatimirandasya Dhananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Ena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So Devahuti's lamentation is continuing. In this shloka also she is mentioning how she could not come to the point of Tirthapada Sevayai, to the devotional service to the lotus feet of the Lord. So in this shloka there is an interesting progression for work. If of course in this world everybody has to work, that is the natural law, and people have their own natural inclination to work in a certain field, to work in a certain way. In Kali Yuga, these natural inclinations are little difficult to identify, because we may think he is Kshatriya, or we may think he is a Vaishya, but suddenly you will see some other qualities, some other inclinations manifesting in him. But nonetheless, there could be some predominant natural inclination, and people work day and night. And the result of such work is that, of course, they get some salary or some money, some reputation, and that's how he goes on in his life. But here it is mentioned, anybody may do any kind of a work, but that should elevate him to religious life. Neha yat karma dharmaya. Our karma should elevate to dharmaya, dharma, religious life. If this religious life is as per Vedas, Vedic regulations, then it is called Varnashram Dharma. But if it is not according to the Vedic injunctions, this work is simply whatever one has decided to do. Like in this modern age, you hardly see anybody following the Vedic regulations in their work. We have created our own designations, our own fields of activity, and in fact we have created a big sinful civilization with complex works and designations. Previously we used to understand, if somebody gives a visiting card, you can figure out what is the kind of a role that he does. But nowadays the designations are so complex, you have to hear for next 1 hour to understand what is actually his work is. It's so complex it has become. All these things are not the Vedic way of life. The Vedas, they recommend work in such a way, dharmaya, the dharma, that viragaya kalpate, it should lead to renunciation, detachment. So, by doing these complex jobs, what is happening to a person? Is he becoming religious? That is the first step. Many of the people, particularly if they are successful in their work, they'll say we will not believe in God. Kali Yuga, one symptom is that they take pleasure in making a mockery of Vedic literature. Both men and women, they become proud in minimizing the Vedic statements or Vedic injunctions. So this is the Kali's environment, surcharged with disobedience to Vedic injunctions and any kind of a religiosity, true religiosity. Then you may say, no, we are seeing so much religiosity all around us. You see, the other day we have some festivals here, I don't want to mention, just next door, next to our ashram. And they have put such a sound that we are actually threatened in our ashram rooms. We are threatened literally. It is like that. Such a religiosity, so much bhakti. So what are you saying? Actually that religiosity should bring in renunciation. It should bring in detachment from this material world. Now is it happening? By performing all such things, if somebody is extremely attached to material life and sense gratification, what advancement? That's why here it is mentioned, the ritualistic performances, if they do not raise him to renunciation, then although he is breathing, he is considered dead. So many religious rituals we will see. In all the religions, we see all these things. But ultimately, result is completely attached to sense gratification. That's why Bhagavatam in the first canto we have seen Dharmasya hi apavargasya. Dharma, our day-to-day, this religious life should lead to apavarga. You should be interested in liberation. Apavarga means to come out of this material life. So that means it's not just volume of these religious rituals, but ultimately what is it creating in him? It should create viragaya, renunciation or detachment. But this renunciation, if it is not reaching to, if it is not leading him to Tirthapada Sevayai, that detachment is not creating devotional service to Krishna, then that is useless. Jivanapi mruto hi saha. Although he is living, that means he is breathing, is actually a dead person. Who is this dead body is moving with breathing and all that? Actually they are ghosts. So you may see him as, a lot of very religious person, but if he is not detached, developed any detachment, devotional service to Krishna, is actually a ghost going here and there. Very fearful person. He can create havoc anytime. So this is Devahuti's lamentation. That ultimately all the works are supposed to reach me to the devotional service of the Lord, but I have wasted my life. Although I have an opportunity to associate with an exalted personality, but simply I lived for sense gratification and I have wasted my life. See, this is a lamentation. So this is a good, she is a devoted lady, she has a higher sense, at least she is able to introspect and recognize that there is something that I am missing in my life. She has understood that, okay, I should have taken a better advantage of the opportunity that is given to me. Krishna consciousness is that opportunity. Svanushtutasta dharmasya. Somebody may be very expert in doing his work, very expert software engineer, expert businessman, expert lawyer, many experts are there. But then if his expertise is not creating Vishvakshena Kathasuyaha, a little bit of taste in hearing about Krishna, then Shamayevahi Kevalam. Simply Shrama. That means it is useless. That means, let us say, a software engineer or a scientist, he is typing on his laptop or computer, doing so many things. Each button that he is pressing is useless. Here it is mentioned, Shama eva hi kevalam. Kevalam Shama. So much hard work, and finally, what is his? Doesn't believe in the religious processes, doesn't believe in God, Tirthapada Sevaya, he has no such appreciation. Then everything that he does, including pressing of each button, up to some big plans and whatever that he may do, it's simply waste of time and energy. So this is the Shastric declaration. And Prabhupada is quoting in the Bhagavad Gita, in this shloka, one verse from Bhagavad Gita, Yajnadhat karmano anyatra. Any work that is done which is not giving pleasure to Krishna, it is simply karma bandhanaha. It just entangles him. So that's why the work should lead to a religious life. And then the religious life should lead to detachment from this world. And that the ultimate detachment is if we can engage in devotional service to Krishna. This is the sequence. And if somebody is fortunate to directly come to devotional service to Krishna, then automatically detachment is automatically included, guaranteed. Such a person becomes detached from this material world. Then you may say, why so many religious activities and rituals and so many things are recommended? Why there so many rituals are recommended? Actually, Radha Govinda ki jai. Because the conditioned soul is so fascinated by sense gratification that they use religious life for sense gratification. Even though they may come to this, some of these rituals and this and that, their goal is material benefit. How I can improve my sense gratification. So that's why in the Vedic literatures or in some of the religious books, they say you do this ritual, you get this material benefit. You do this ritual, you will get this material benefit. So, fascinated by those material benefits, fascinated by those promises of sense gratification, the living entity tries to adopt to religious life. At least something, they try to do some religious rituals. And they may not know what is the purpose and all that, but they are fascinated by the promise. I'm going to get this. So that's how they start. But the Vedic system is so nicely designed. Even if somebody is attracted to sense gratification and follows those rituals, gradually he will come to knowledge. And knowledge means that which creates renunciation. The knowledge means, the definition of knowledge means it should create detachment from this world. This is called knowledge. If by our college education, university education, let us say one becomes fascinated that yes, now I have a degree, a very special degree from a special college, not in India, but some other foreign university. I have a big degree, big knowledge. So now I have a great hope. I can get a big job or I can be a big businessman, and then yes, I can make it up in my life. I can become very big in my life. This is what our current education is aimed at. In fact, if somebody gets a degree and he doesn't get a job, then he is considered a failure, right? And then very often this jobs is a political issue also in our country. Or somebody has, government is unable to create jobs, that becomes a political issue to fight. So people, they learn this education, acquire this knowledge in order to get more attached to this world and this worldly work. That's all. Then you may say, why we are supposed to work, but at the same time it is said that the work should lead to ultimately to apavargasya, liberation. What is this? Because the key point is ultimately this world is not our natural place. This is not the world in which we are supposed to live. Our expectation is different, our nature is different, and this is not. It's a foreign place for us. This world is a foreign place. Let us say you visit a prison house and that prisoners are given some work there. They sit and break big boulders into small stones, and you go and talk to him and say, how do you find your work? Very nice. And then at the end of this work, what is your thinking? No, I am getting some 10 rupee or some 20 rupee per hour or something like that. The prisoner says, what will you think? What will be your goal if you are this well-wisher? You want to tell him, Arey, see, look, this is not the work, This is not your work. Your work is outside the prison. There you have a big, your father is a big man. Why don't you come back? And no, this is very important work for me. Conquer. Every day I have to make so much conquer. And then every hour I will get some 10 rupee, 20. Your first goal will be, how do I create little detachment in him? But if you say, no, no, come out of this, take away forcefully the work from him, he will resist. Rebel, because he is so attached to conquer that he cannot give it up immediately. So if somebody says stop this, typing, buttoning, all those things, they will rebel immediately. If there is a new machine, new laptop is released, like in China and all that they release, immediately you will see a big queue in front of the shop to purchase. Why? Same thing, same buttons, but something new, and then if you go and tell him, no, stop this, so it's like a big boulder in his life. It's exactly like a prisoner's conquer. He is hitting with a hammer, he is hitting with a small this thing. Cannot give it up. They cannot give it up. An intelligent person, that's why Krishna says, don't disturb them. But by showing how to work, you induce them to a higher level of existence. So that's why sometimes devotees also, we do some of this conquer work. We also do, we also use this laptops and mobiles and this and that. We are also pressing so many buttons every day. So what is that you are also like me only. You are saying I should stop my conquer, but you are also doing the same thing. The thing is, when the devotee is working, he is working in a different quality. He is working as Tirtha Pada Sevayai. He is working as a devotion to Krishna. His work itself is a devotional service. The result is also offered to Krishna, and the devotee is completely free. So, whole literature, you see, whenever it comes to work, you should visualize this prisoner breaking stones. What is the first goal? Bring him to a little bit of detachment. Chacha, what is this stone breaking every day? Did I not have any other purpose in my life? At least some thinking if he gets, that is a big advancement. And one day he realizes, no, this prison is not my actual life. I should go out of this. I want to be liberated from this prison. That is a much bigger advancement. And to get liberated from that detachment is there, it has come, is no more interested in work and all that. But still, to get out of the prison, you have to follow some government rules and regulations. And that is Tirtha Pada Sevayaya. Devotional service to Krishna automatically brings all this liberation, everything automatically. So similarly, here we can see Devahuti is mentioning this sequence. People who are very attached to work, sometimes they say work is worship. Don't ask me to worship anything other than this. They say, I am already worshipping. My work is my worship, you will say. They are so attached to that conquer. And they come up with philosophy also. This is the worship. There is nothing else beyond this. This is their statement. So, by working, what are you achieving, sir? Yes, I am getting good salary. I am getting good money. I am getting good enjoyment. Bhagavatam is saying, no, that's not the. Are you becoming religious? Are you developing some detachment? Finally, are you coming to Krishna? If the work is leading to these stages, yes, that is good. So, currently we see people are very attached to the work that they do. Very, very attached. So, our goal is not to disturb that. You cannot go and say, no, stop all these things. Our goal is, okay, you work very hard and give 50% to Krishna. Immediately a lot of detachment will come in him. As soon as he gives first check to Krishna, he will get a big detachment. In all the advancement that he is supposed to get in millions of years, he will get it in one check. Just give money to Krishna. Then by Krishna's grace, knowledge will come, and detachment will also come. um, even I have practical experience. When I gave the first check to Krishna, there's so much detachment in the heart. So this service of liberating money, Lakshmi, collecting money is very special. Why? Because people who are very attached to this work and producing results, of course many of them are religious already. They may be doing some religious rituals also, but that's not the ultimate. Our ultimate goal is to bring him to Tirthapada Sevayai. Somehow he should be engaged in Krishna consciousness. This should be our goal. And also devotees, when they see these karmis working very smartly and with great attachment, we should not get attracted by such works, such jobs, such packages. Rather, we should be little compassionate and ensure that he is somehow engaged in Krishna consciousness. Actually, giving money is also not easy for many people. So that's why we have Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy. Okay, even if you don't give anything, simply chant Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. So this is devotional service. In fact, 2 devotional services, chanting and hearing, Shravanam and Kirtanam. So, and then he will also remember Krishna, and slowly he will advance. By chanting, one develops enlightenment, knowledge. Knowledge means detachment. He understands the temporality of this world. One should understand the temporality, temporary nature of this world. So that reduces the worldliness. Otherwise, people are so much attached to this world. So our method should be very careful. We should not give a jerk to people and then stop them from doing whatever they are doing. Our focus is not on that. Our focus is bring them to Tirthapada Sevayai. Somehow bring them to the lotus feet of Krishna. Make them chant Hare Krishna. Sometimes they are not able to chant also. Then we have the ultimate weapon. Let's give some prasadam. And that is also devotional service. Who will say no? Nobody will say. And as he go on eating, then he will slowly come to chanting. As he chants more and more, he understands. Bhagavad Gita will be able to understand. Knowledge will come. Then detachment will come. Vairagya Vidya, Nija Bhakti Yoga. Nija Bhakti Yoga means if somebody takes to Nija Bhakti Yoga, real process of Krishna consciousness, then it is Vairagya Vidya. He develops this Viragaya Kalpate. Vairagya he develops, and then he becomes very balanced. He wants to balance his worldliness and his Krishna consciousness. Slowly he transforms his entire life into a Krishna conscious life. That is the beauty of this process. So you need not have to change your profession. You need not have to change your circumstances. You have to change your consciousness. One should understand how to turn the same things into Krishna conscious things. This is the beauty of this process. And if somebody takes to this Krishna conscious process, all the benefits of renunciation, all the benefits of religiosity, liberation, everything is included. Any questions? We'll stop here. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam.